Most weight loss plans are one size fits all, not taking into account each person's individual needs. Noom is here to change that. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain. But it also takes into account your unique biological factors, which also affect weight loss success. The program helps you understand the science behind your eating choices and why you have cravings. Everyone's journey is different, so your daily lessons are personalized to you and your goals. One of the great things about Noom is that it's nourishing instead of restrictive. They focus on progress instead of perfection. You don't have to give up carbs, or anything for that matter. Have cravings? Food FOMO? Noom can help you lose weight while still enjoying your favorite foods. To date, Noom has helped more than 5.2 million people lose weight. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com.
Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality, banning over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything is delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/get-started for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. We're joined now by Robert Morrow. He's a longtime associate of Roger Stone. He's co-written the book with Roger Stone, The Clinton War on Women. We've had him on the show several times before. He's a political researcher, an activist, and a libertarian. Robert Morrow, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Remind the audience, who is Robert Morrow?
Oh, well, I am a political researcher and author here in Austin, Texas. I co-wrote the book, The Clintons War on Women, with Roger Stone. I also helped Roger Stone with his book, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. I've known Roger Stone since 2013. We haven't been that close the past couple of years because I'm not a Trump supporter. I really detest Donald Trump, think he's kind of crazy and criminal. But I know a lot about Roger Stone. I've had many dealings with him, and I'm here to tell you about it.
Okay, well, let's get into that first. What happened? Because your politics are similar to Trump's in some ways, I'm sure. Are you in favor of the wall and that kind of stuff?
I don't really care too much about that. You know, I'm for cutting taxes and cutting the size of government, and I really don't care too much about that wall. I really don't like a lot of illegal immigration, but I am a libertarian, you know, and kind of think people should be able to go where they want to. But if we could go everywhere else in the world, that'd be one thing, but we can't. So I am for border wall enforcement, border control enforcement. It just depends on what level, on what degree.
Okay, now the first time I had you on my show, I invited you on to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. It was about 5 years ago. And back then, nobody even knew who the guy was. As a matter of fact, you're the only guest I could find that even had spoken about him or did any research or knew about Jeffrey Epstein 5 years ago. Now, and at the time, I started bringing up the connections between Trump and Epstein, and you says, no. I don't believe Trump likes little girls. He likes women with large breasts, just like I do. What's happened since then to change your opinion?
You know what? Apparently Donald Trump does like to have sex with young teenage girls. And when I was talking to you, it was probably late 2015 when I wrote my book, Clinton's Warned Women, or maybe even early 2016. Jeffrey Epstein had not been sued in court yet by Jane Doe, also known as Katie Johnson.
Right.
And at that time, I was going off of what Roger Stone told me. We have a chapter. See, what it is, Roger Stone wanted to use Jeffrey Epstein against Bill Clinton because Bill Clinton flew 25 times on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane, and there were all these underage girls hanging out and so forth. So I don't know if Bill Clinton was being pandered underage girls by Jeffrey Epstein. I feel sure there were some girls who were maybe, I'm going to guess, above age there to have sex with Bill Clinton. We don't really know if Bill Clinton was being pandered underage girls. We do. We know for sure Bill Clinton would know that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile who liked to have sex with underage girls. There's no question about that. Anybody that close to Epstein was that case. But in answer to your question, I was working with Roger Stone on the Clinton's Warned Women and using all the Epstein stuff against Bill Clinton. And Stone is a shill for Trump. And I said, Roger, Donald Trump's name has been circled by the Butler, house manager for Jeffrey Epstein, as one of the pedophiles. See, Alfredo Rodriguez had said when Epstein got arrested, he took Epstein's book of contacts and he went through and he circled every single person that he thought was a pedophile or was aware of the pedophilia of Jeffrey Epstein. And Donald Trump's name was circled. Okay? And so was Alan Dershowitz's. And so was Ehud Barak's name circled. And so Stone says, well, I'll talk to Trump about this. And he talked to Trump, and Trump said to him, he says, well, I went to Jeffrey Epstein's house in Palm Beach one time, and I saw a bunch of young girls hanging around the swimming pool. And I thought, wow, nice. Jeffrey Epstein, he's letting all the neighborhood kids swim in the swimming pool. Really nice of him and everything. That's just a big fat lie. We put that in our book, because I had no context on who Donald Trump was, that he was, a pedophile and pathological liar and a business criminal for 40 years. I just thought he was a braggadocious, blustering, at times, jackass. But I know better now. The evidence is Trump was into the pedophilia with Jeffrey Epstein.
And it's Stone who comes up with this story and says, well, as soon as Trump found out about Epstein, he no longer allowed her to go to Mar-a-Lago and be a member of the club. Did Stone say something like that to you?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But Roger Stone did tell me this. He says the first time that I met Jeffrey Epstein, it was on Donald Trump's airplane. Donald Trump had a plane that acted as a shuttle between New York City and Miami. And they would just fly back and forth, up and down the East Coast. A lot of people make that shuttle route. And so if you were friends with Donald Trump, you could hop on his airplane like you're catching a cab from New York to Miami. You wouldn't have to pay a commercial air flight ticket. And on that plane with Roger Stone was Jeffrey Epstein. That was the first time he met Jeffrey Epstein, or at least, saw Jeffrey Epstein in person. That's what Roger Stone told me.
Okay.
And so Trump, I know now that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were extremely close since 1987. In the 1994 period, Trump, in the summer of 94, was raping 13 and 12-year-old girls at the Les Wexner Mansion in New York City. That's where Epstein operated out of. Jeffrey Epstein was very, very close to Les Wexner, who was a Republican donor, while Jeffrey Epstein was a Democratic donor. Les Wexner is a guy who owned Victoria's Secrets and The Limited and a lot of other retailers.
Right, and we know this about Trump and the 13-year-old girl because of the Katie Johnson lawsuit, and there's 3 affidavits in that lawsuit. So, and this is what you're...
They're all true.
Yeah, okay.
And so basically, Katie Johnson is a real person. She's alive today in her late 30s, probably 37 or so. She was age 13 in 1994, so you guys can do the math as far as how old she is right now. Donald Trump was molesting a 12-year-old girl named Maria, and Maria has been found, and she's in the same boat as Katie Johnson and Jane Doe. That's the same person. They don't want to come public. Donald Trump's the president. Trump would have these girls wear surgical gloves because he's a germ freak, and they would masturbate him wearing, gloves, like a surgeon's gloves. And if you Google Donald Trump germ freak, you'll know that. And that's why Katie Johnson's so credible, because when she gave her YouTube interview, which you can find, she talks about how that a woman came up to her and said, no, with Mr. Trump, you have to wear gloves. Wear these gloves. And they would put these little 12 and 13-year-old girls will be putting on surgical gloves and masturbating Donald Trump. Completely. If you knew how sick Donald Trump is, completely credible. And he would tell one of these girls, "You look just like my daughter." Mm-hmm. And Ivanka was age 12 at that time. Donald Trump is just extremely, extremely sick. Very off the deep end type sick. I don't know if he was molesting Ivanka, but he probably has fantasies of having sex with her. And even when she was a preteen, he was probably thinking about having sex with her and then really having sex. So with Katie Johnson, she went to 4 parties where she was masturbating Donald Trump, and on the 4th one, Trump ties her up with pantyhose so tight that the pain of her wrist was more than the pain of Donald Trump breaking her hymen and then raping her with his penis. She said that. The pain of her wrist it hurt more in her wrist. He tied her up so tightly to the bed that, and then he raped her. And then, she says, well, what if I get pregnant? All this. And then he threw money at her. He threw a couple $100 bills at her. And, well, we can get an abortion. And he said that if you tell anybody, I've got friends. You remember Trump's basically mafia connected. I've got friends. I'll kill you and your entire family. So that's an age 48-year-old Donald Trump, complete and total sicko, telling that to a 13-year-old girl who he's just raped. He's raped without a condom as well. And
he also says if you talk about this, you'll wind up like Maria. So, which is a reference to the other.
Maria was another girl.
Right.
So Maria was probably just masturbating him with gloves. I don't know, but Maria is alive today, and you're saying, well, why aren't they on TV right now? They don't want to. They're afraid of being killed. They're afraid of death threats by 10,000 Trumpkins. Okay, they're just going to wait this out. So one day when Donald Trump has passed away, one day when he's no longer president, they'll be on national TV. And is that going to be 5 or 10 or 20 years from now? It'll happen. It'll happen. But they cannot. They're too weak. They don't have money. They don't have a team of lawyers. They don't have a PR team. Katie Johnson has a real job. She has a working job. She does. She has, medical problems, emotional problems, no money. So, down to somebody who's $100 million. I did not say Trump was a billionaire, okay? But he is worth probably hundreds of millions of dollars. And he has all these Trumpkins who would be glad to terrorize any woman telling the truth about Donald Trump.
Now, is this the issue that caused the falling out between you and Roger Stone? Because from my observation, it seems to be what it is.
When I finally, around June 21st of 2016, that's about almost 2.5 years ago, that's when Katie Johnson or Jane Doe sued Donald Trump in a New York court and she gave a deposition, and our friend Tiffany Doe gave a deposition or an affirmation, a witness statement about Donald Trump raping underage girls, and it was very, very credible. And their lawyer was Thomas Morrow of New Jersey. Later, Lisa Bloom of Los Angeles was her lawyer for a while.
Cheney Mason, too.
What?
Cheney Mason, the top mom from Florida. He was on the case, too.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right.
But the answer is all these lawyers thought she was very, very credible. And so the reason she's not on TV is because Lisa Bloom wanted her to give a press conference a week before the 2016 general election that would have blown Donald Trump out of the water. But Katie Johnson, that's not a real name, she was terrified. This whole process, she wanted to remain anonymous. Okay, she wanted to tell people about Donald Trump. She wanted to sue him. She wanted to let everybody know that a 48-year-old man had violently raped her and threatened to kill her and her whole family. But she was unwilling to go on TV. And Lisa Bloom had all of these TV cameras and all these reporters all in one room and was ready to throw her to the wolves. And she did not want to do that. She said, no, this is not what I signed up for. I'm not doing the press conference. I'm dropping the lawsuit. You're no longer my lawyer. I'm stopping right now. Which is pretty sad, because if she would have given that press conference, it would have nuked Donald Trump. He wouldn't have won those swing states. And, of course, we'd have the Clinton crime family in the presidency. But sometimes you're just screwed every which way in politics, my friends.
And you know, you took I was driving home that week, and I heard Sean Hannity on his radio show say, we dodged a bullet this week. And the guest said, what do you mean? And he said, Epstein. So, you know, Sean Hannity.
You heard that?
Yes, I did, man.
Okay. Well, the answer is it's true.
Yeah.
And then if you go online to like the Daily Mail, they had an article on this. The Daily Mail was being sued by Trump and for, you know, supposedly slandering Melania, who, in my opinion, really was a prostitute in New York City in the 1990s when she was a model. And part of the deal was you're going to write a hit piece on Katie Johnson. So the reporter believed her. And the reporter had to change the copy, and they changed the headlines to saying this girl, you know, recants, or she didn't recant. She recants her story about Donald Trump. So my point is that was disinformation that came out literally the day before the election. The day before the election. I know, because I was campaigning against Trump on election day. I had somebody in a car drive by me and say, I had this big sign saying Trump is a child rapist. He says, no, she took it all back. It's on the internet.
Yeah, I know.
You know? And I'm like, really? You know, she took it all back. It's on the internet.
Well, they'll also say, too, the judge threw it out. People will say, oh, the judge threw that out. The judge threw that out. You know,
No.
I know.
The judge did not throw it out.
I know.
When she filed her first lawsuit with the help of a little piddling paralegal in California, and they didn't file it correctly, and that got thrown out in April of 2016. Then she found a real lawyer, Thomas Morrow of New Jersey.
Well, Thomas Morrow is a patents attorney. He's not this kind of attorney either, but he did bring in.
He's a damn good patent attorney.
No, he's a good lawyer. But
he's a quality lawyer.
Yeah,
he's an A+ lawyer. He's a blue chip lawyer.
And he brought in an expert, though, whose name doesn't appear on any paperwork, who was I got his name here, but what he called, who is a specialist in sexual harassment law and this type of law, who's a big shot in that area. So behind the scenes, though. Yeah. And they all believe it.
Tom Morrow is a quality lawyer. You know, he doesn't specialize in this. He's a quality lawyer, and he totally believed her. And another reason Katie Johnson dropped her lawsuit was because her friend Tiffany Doe quit cooperating. Tiffany Doe was actually a witness to Donald Trump molesting these age 12 and 13-year-old girls. A witness in the room at the same time. Most rapes don't have witnesses in the room looking at it and facilitating it. That's the problem. And because Tiffany Doe was facilitating this, she got cold feet in the fall of 2016. Started thinking, well, wonder how this is going to reflect back on me. So Tiffany Doe was the one who Jeffrey Epstein would use to recruit these young girls. Because, you know, they would go to these railway stations, bus stations, look for runaways, girls who want to be models, and they say, oh, you're really cute. I know some rich guys. You know, come to a party. We'll pay you some money, and maybe you can become a model. They don't tell them you're going to get raped by Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and Team Pervert. They sucker these little girls into these parties, and then they pull a hard move on them. And Tiffany Doe was the one in charge of recruiting the underage girls. She has massive personal liability herself. What people don't know is that she remained friends with Katie Johnson for decades. Okay? And they knew each other for decades. It wasn't like, they lost track after the early 90s. They stayed in touch. And so anyhow, that was another big reason in Tiffany Doe dropping her lawsuit because, Jane Doe dropping her lawsuit because Tiffany Doe, the witness, the recruiter, got cold feet.
Well, let's swing this around, though. But this is the issue. This is the driving issue that drove a wedge between you and Roger Stone. Or was there something else?
Because at that point, I said, Donald Trump is a child rapist. It's over. Period. End of story. It doesn't matter if Trump were to agree with me on 100% of the issues. He rapes girls. He should be in jail. He's a thug.
Do you think Stone
murder an entire family?
Do you think Stone is convinced?
Political issues mean nothing at that point. I don't care where he stands on taxes or the law or immigration or abortion or whatever. He's like, get the hell out.
Robert, from your perspective, though, is Stone as convinced of this as you are, or is he looking the other way, or he's not convinced?
I think Roger Stone doesn't care about the truth.
Okay.
Roger Stone is a sycophant to Donald Trump, which is like being, it's like being a genital wart on the scrotum of a straight hood. Okay? So he wants to be Trump's little boy and use Trump for his glorification and PR and his name and everything and to be talked about and to be relevant. When I first met Roger Stone, he was trying to be relevant in life. Life had passed him by. He doesn't have money. I think he has a huge debt to the IRS. He had no campaign. I helped him with his book. His book was a big success. The Man Who Killed Kennedy, the Case Against LBJ. That was one of the top books on the JFK assassination in the year 2013. The 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination. I think that was the top book that came out. It certainly got enough PR. So I'm willing to help Roger Stone out for free on that book.
Okay.
And, so he's a Trump boy. He doesn't, I'm a political truth teller. I'm a political activist. I have some sort of baseline of principles. Roger Stone's a pathological liar. And I know that personally. Dealing with him.
Did you have any problems with Stone early on when you were working on the LBJ book?
No, because he was so dependent on me.
Okay.
While we have problems, I'm dumping incredible amounts of quality JFK research in his lap for free.
Right.
And I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to use Stone as a vehicle to tell everybody that Lyndon Johnson murdered John Kennedy because he did. See, Richard Nixon was telling that this time. He was saying, well, I never wanted to be president. We're talking about LBJ. He said, well, I always wanted to be president, but I never was going to kill for it. And then Stone was saying, but Mr. Nixon, who really killed Kennedy? And Nixon would just shiver and say, Texas. LBJ and the Texans murdered John Kennedy. That's the truth. And they used the CIA and a few military guys to do it.
Are you comfortable talking about your financial arrangement for the other book, the Clinton War on Women?
And now a word from our sponsors.
Check out cartking.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing, and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subash Technosis by email at info@subhashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subhashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Remember, all these shows are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites. And we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Are you comfortable talking about your financial arrangement for the other book, the Clinton War on Women?
Sure.
How did that work out? Were you paid a salary, commission, profit sharing?
Roger Stone was supposed to pay me half the profits. You know, Skyhorse got half the profits, and then we got half the profits. So he gave me a check for $17,000, and it bounced. It bounced. And then they finally got me a clean check that passed, and they gave me a check for $3,000, $20,000 total. Do I have trust in Roger Stone dealing with me accurately on the numbers? God, no. He's a pathological liar. So, you know, you have to ask yourself, you know, would a dirty trickster and a lifelong pathological liar be cheating me out of money? It's worth asking, isn't it?
Yeah.
So $20K is all I got. You know, and the book, you know, was not as big as a success as the Men Who Killed Kennedy case against LBJ, but it was definitely a success. You know, it was definitely profitable for Skyhorse, for Stone, and for Morrow. But so that was the full extent of it. You know, but I am a co-author of the book. I wrote the 85% of it. I wrote the vast majority of it. I do think it's possible that Roger Stone, after I submitted the manuscript to him, that he was thinking about stealing it from me and just taking it for himself. It just shows you the kind of a low life he is. He's an incredible bottom-feeding low life. He is charming. He's funny. He's a good gossiper. He knows a lot of really good political. For example, he's the one who told me that Britt Hume and Megyn Kelly were having an affair. How's that for some juicy dirt right there?
Really?
Yeah. Britt Hume was boning Megyn Kelly. And Stone knows that from his Fox connections, and also somebody else told me that as well. Oh, I didn't tell you this nugget. Roger Stone used to have sex with Ann Coulter. Did you know that one?
No, I did not know that one either.
But you didn't know that one?
No, I didn't. Do you believe that, though?
You can use that to promote the interview.
Do you believe that?
Robert Morrow talks about Roger Stone having sex with Ann Coulter.
But that's something he told you, or you know this?
He told me. He told me.
And you believe him?
Of course.
Okay.
He's on his wife all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah, what about that business where they got caught putting ads in the papers looking for men? I think they were looking for, right?
Well, Roger Stone likes to watch other men have sex with his wife.
Manafort did too.
He's the original cuck. You know, they talk about Jeb Bush being a cuck. Roger Stone's the original cuck. He likes to watch other men have sex with his wife, who I think she's a very nice wife. And Nadia is her name, and very pretty Cuban lady with some big boobies, who's aged very well. Remember, Stone has a new baby from another girl from
that's cool.
from the madam up in New York. You didn't know that?
No, I knew about that. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. But wait a second. But Manafort also does that same thing. In those emails that got leaked, Manafort's emails, his daughter's talking about him making their mother have sex with other men in front of other men.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're both into that. And for all we know, Trump might be into that as well. But Trump's definitely a pervert. And so Stone would always like to talk about the deviant elite. He is like a card-carrying member of the deviant elite. Okay, I was seeing a picture of him with Roger Stone and Kristen Davis, the former madam for New York.
Right.
You know, okay, her baby is his. Hello?
Yeah, that's
who his baby is.
That's the Elliot Spitzer
so his
case.
wife is in his mid-60s, and he's having a baby with the New York madam. Okay, this is not hard. So you asked me, was he having sex with Ann Coulter? Yeah. He said he met her several times at a hotel near his home in Fort Lauderdale. I forget the name of the hotel. It may be if there is a Marriott there, it may have been the Marriott or something. And that Ann wanted to continue the relationship, but he quit seeing her. He said she was skinny. He likes them girls with them big old boobies.
Let me ask you a question. It just came out recently that one of the Apprentice, a guy who worked at The Apprentice, said that Donald Trump was crushing Adderall and snorting Adderall. Now, I just heard, too, that in Roger Stone's bail conditions, he has to go in for a drug test. And then this is brought up to me by Ted Rubenstein, right? You probably know Ted. And it seems that there's people talking, Credico is talking about the Stone also doing that with Adderall. You familiar with that?
No, but I think Roger Stone likes to smoke dope.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's a cannabis.
Did the Credico say that Roger Stone does that too?
Don't quote me on that, okay? But I think the source on that is Credico, yeah.
Would you like to hear my latest text to Roger Stone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me look up here what I sent to Roger a few days ago. Now, can we use the F word on this interview, or is it not okay?
Let's avoid it, because we can get more exposure if we don't.
Okay, we'll avoid it then. I said, you got off easy. Mueller did not charge you for boning Ann Coulter. That is a crime against humanity. So let's scroll back to some comments he likes to send me. He says, oh God, here we go. You want to hear what I would say to him? Okay. I said, why do you shill for a million unstable trade in our country? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. This is from July 18th. He says, you suck Bill Clinton's blank. Go blank yourself. Trust fund asswipe. Then I said, you remind me of a homosexual cuck, submissive, crawling on the floor with a dog collar around his neck. And Trump is who you put your money on? And he responds, typical Roger Stone, you're a weak, pathetic piece of blank who's never worked a day in his life. Anytime you want to meet mano, I'll pound your fat, lazy, ugly ass on the ground. Go blank yourself. I said, you won't do blank, cuck man. You know, he's a cuck guy.
Well, let me ask you this. You and Stone are still in communication? You chat back and forth still?
These are from July of this past year, I think. And so no. But so now I just text him whenever I want to do a hate text to Donald Trump. I'll send it to Roger Stone.
Yeah, and people should follow Robert Morrow on Facebook, and are you on Twitter too? Because I enjoy you. Twitter.
Yeah, I'm at DC Politics 2016.
Yeah, it's always entertaining stuff. There's always something for your enjoyment there. It's always something clever going on.
Yeah.
Or some kind of dispute.
Yeah, and so, Roger Stone has his good points. Like I said, he is funny. He is knowledgeable about politics. He has a lot of really good gossip. At the time, they used to have sex with Maureen Dowd, too.
What do you know about...
Says she has big breasts.
What do you know about Stone working for Al Sharpton?
Look, he is a transactional guy, okay? I don't know the reason for that. Maybe Donald Trump needed Al Sharpton on his side at one point, or maybe Roger Stone had a political enemy and he needed Al Sharpton on his side. So I don't know anything about that. I think he's worked for numerous people. But we'll say this, Roger Stone is a dirty trickster and a pathological liar and has some sort of a weird submissive relationship to Donald Trump. I think that Stone internally believes he's a loser, and therefore he has to attach himself to somebody who he thinks is a, quote, winner, which is Donald Trump, even though Trump is a massive loser. And, he was so proud of his association with Donald Trump. Can you believe that? I mean, like he's beaming and proud and boastful. It's one of those things. He feels important to be connected to an important person, even though Stone will tell you he's just a political hack.
Let me. Just recently, someone told me that it's possible that Stone inherited the Roy Cohn blackmail files. Is that possible?
He's never told me that.
Okay.
But I do think that in my opinion, Roy Cohn was a master blackmailer. He was a pedophilic blackmailer. I think that he would hook people up. When I say people, I mean, targets of his with underage boys and film. I mean, I can't prove that. I just believe that. I know he's a very sick guy and very dirty political player and very close. See, Roger Stone first met Roy Cohn in 1980 when he was doing campaign work for Ronald Reagan in the primary in New York. And so Roy Cohn and Tony Fat Salerno, who was the head guy of the front man for the Genovese crime family, they were telling Roger Stone behind the scenes that Lyndon Johnson killed John Kennedy. I believe that 100%. Roy Cohn, who hated the Kennedys, Fat Tony Salerno, the mafia, hated the Kennedys, and they were telling him, Roger Stone, in 1980, that Lyndon Johnson murdered JFK. As Nixon was telling him, Barry Goldwater was telling people that privately. Many LBJ insiders were saying that. Madeline Brown, Billy Celestis, Bar McClellan. So Stone has come across some truth. And he has tremendous political contacts.
Yeah. I just want to remind the audience that Robert Morrow is the co-author with Roger Stone on this book, the Clinton War on Women. They worked together on the whole LBJ book. So this is an insider's insider. Now, is there a demand for you to give interviews in your association with Stone, or am I the only one?
You're the only one. Did I mention that he used to have sex with Ann Coulter? I just want to make sure I mentioned that. Okay?
You did.
Okay, in case anybody missed that from the previous 5 minutes ago. So she said she was skinny, and so he quit seeing her. And then he wants her to do favors for him in our book, and she wrote her even a blurb for us on our book. Mm-hmm. God bless her. Atomic Annie.
Now, what about all this stuff with Assange and Jerome Corsi and Credico and all this stuff? Are you following this closely?
Well, I used to be kind of friends with Jerome Corsi over the internet and stuff because we all hate the Clintons. Me and Stone and Corsi all hate the Clintons for good reason. And I will tell you this: Jerome Corsi is far more credible as a human being than Roger Stone is.
Okay.
Roger Stone, he'll tell you the truth about Lyndon Johnson and the Clinton crime family and the Bush crime family, but he'll lie about Trump and he'll lie for himself. That's the difference. But there's been a dispute between Corsi and Roger Stone over who's right. I believe Jerome Corsi.
Now, do you believe this little group, Corsi, Credico, Stone, could they pull off an operation like this and be a go-between between Assange and Trump and the Russians and all that? Is that possible?
Well, it's not an operation. Remember, the Trumps hacked all this stuff probably on their own on Hillary. I don't know if they were colluding with Trump. Trump would love to collude with them. I don't know if he did. But all they were doing was just trying to go to Julian Assange and find out what he had. And I think Julian Assange is a journalist who has every right to publish whatever the Soviets give. I mean, if the New York Times can publish the Pentagon Papers, then Julian Assange, a journalist, can publish whatever anybody gives him. And the U.S. intelligence really wants to put Julian Assange in jail forever. Karl Rove has called for his execution. I mean, Karl Rove's a neocon, part of the Bush administration, all the death and destruction in Iraq that Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, Bush, Condoleezza Rice, and he caused. Yet, he thinks Julian Assange should get the death penalty. So, but you ask me, what's pulling off an operation? You find out Julian Assange has something, and you're desperately trying to find out what it is. That's not really much of an operation. Roger Stone has known Trump for 40 years. He's known Paul Manafort for decades, okay?
Yeah.
So, obviously, Roger Stone really wasn't a key part of the campaign in 2016. He just wanted to pretend that he was. He was working off on the edges, trying to do good things for Trump and make himself relevant again, because he lost out a power struggle to Corey Lewandowski during the campaign. And so, I don't know. I mean, I do think that Roger Stone is guilty of everything the government has just charged him with, because he's lying to Congress. That's a no-brainer that Roger Stone would do something like that. Witness tampering with Randy Credica, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So he's obviously a criminal, but does that mean that he went to the Russians first? Or was he going to Julian Assange after the Russians had already dumped it there? Okay? I don't know.
Do you think he'll make a deal?
No. Because whatever he's being tried for will take at least a year.
Right.
To go through a trial and get a conviction. And then Donald Trump has a 2020 general election, and the month after that, he pardons everybody, including himself and his family and Roger Stone. Roger Stone says, I've got a pardon coming to me in December of 2020. I got a pardon. Even if I go to jail for 1 or 2 or 3 months, I've got a pardon waiting for me. Why should he make a deal? Then he can spend the rest of his life on the Trump got screwed tour, After Trump loses in 2020, he can also say, the deep state kicked us out or whatever, Oliver North got his pardon.
Yeah.
Why can't Roger Stone get his pardon?
Yeah, and then Stone would go down in the history books. He'd be connected to this 100 years from now. He would.
That's why he was euphoric when he got arrested. Have you ever seen a happier man your entire life?
Yeah.
When the FBI SWAT team of 30 people come in and arrest you, he was euphoric. He's the center of attention. He wants to be Jesus Christ being crucified in the middle. He doesn't mind being crucified. As long as he's the center of attention, it's all cool. But he wouldn't be so happy if he didn't have what he thought was a pardon in his hip pocket by Donald Trump, who was practically tweeting out, I'm going to pardon you.
Yeah.
I'm going to pardon you. I'm going to pardon you. Hi, Roger. I'm going to pardon you. Witch hunt. I'm going to pardon you. I mean, I'm subliminally saying Trump. Trump was subliminally saying that. So why should we be worried? He's not going to be thrown in. Russia's not going to be thrown in jail next week. A trial takes at least a year, right? So, if he has jail time, it won't extend past 2020. I don't think. That's why he's not worried.
During the press conference there, when everybody was chanting and yelling in the background, CNN asks him, "Do you want Trump to give you a pardon?" And Stone couldn't hear him, and he said, "Pardon me."
And then he had something funny to say the next thing after that.
What did he say after that?
Pardon me? Yes.
Yeah. You can't make that stuff up, man. That really happened.
That's why he's so cocky. He feels like he's going to get pardoned for everything. Yeah. But, you better watch out, because the government might have some charges that they can slap on him after Donald Trump is gone.
Yeah, there has to be more charges here.
And there might be things that do not expire under the statute of limitations for 5 years. that they can just crucify him with. That's what you got to watch out for. So, you know. So what other questions you have, my friend, Ed Opperman?
My question is, do you think we've covered this topic fully? And is there anything else you want to give us?
Anything else? What else can I tell you about Roger Stone?
Something that I haven't asked you.
He hates the Bushes. That goes way back because the Bushes hate him because he was campaigning for Ronald Reagan in 1980. And Stone used to have another New York mistress. He texted me a picture of her one day from the head down, but I know who she is. And she's kind of gone off the radar. She's no longer on Facebook. She used to post on his Facebook page and say, stud. And then his wife is seeing that, stud. You know, I don't think his wife liked that.
How much do you think Stone actually had to do with taking down Elliot Spitzer?
I don't know. I was reading an article debunking that. I didn't know that he hated Elliot Spitzer. I just don't know. Stone lies, and even when he's talking to you privately and you think you're getting the straight scoop, if he's already told that lie to 10 reporters before you, he's internalized it, and it's hard to tell if he's telling the truth. So he said that he was at a sex. Stone would tell me about. He'd be telling me about the times he'd be going to sex clubs. He's like, Robert, I was up late last night. I was blanking at the sex club, you know, till 3 a.m., you know. And so he said his cover story, he said he met this hooker at a sex club in Miami, and she told him that Elliot Spitzer was one of her clients. And, you know, Stone was saying that Elliot Spitzer would wear his black socks during sex. I don't know if that's true or not. He may have just been making it up to humiliate Spitzer. And then he says that he reported to the FBI some stuff. So, I mean, I just don't know. Was he in on the taking out of Spitzer? He would have been if he could have been. He hates Elliot Spitzer.
And his relationship with that madam was before Spitzer went down or after?
I truly don't know.
Okay, because that might be a clue.
That's probably after. You know, Spitzer was part of the Emperor's Club, you know, and he used to sit around the Emperor's Club with girls on his lap and talk real cocky, you know, talk about, you know, like it was a big shot. So any other questions? Because I'm wrecking my brain trying to think anything.
No, I think we've gotten some radio gold here. Are you kidding me, Robert Morrow? But one thing is, I am going to be interviewing a friend of yours soon about this. You want to give us a little update on that, or you want to just wait?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe you're going to be interviewing Jack Staley, whose pen name is John Clarence. He's the author of the Gold House trilogy. He has proven that Lyndon Johnson and Richard Nixon and the military were stealing billions of dollars in gold from White Sands Missile Range, which is located in southern New Mexico in the 1960s and 70s. And the amazing thing about Jack Staley is that he has the money laundering documents of the 1973 Nixon theft, and he has the pilot for LBJ who helped LBJ steal 13 plane loads of gold in the year 1969. It's an amazing, amazing story. You can find his books currently on Amazon.com right now under his pen name, John Clarence, and the book is called The Gold House. There are 3 books, a trilogy of books, The Gold House by John Clarence on Amazon.
Yeah, we're going to have John Clarence on the show. Robert Morrow explained this story to me. We spent about a half hour off the air. I wish we had taped it, but this is a very thoroughly researched, documented story with videos of the pilot, with receipts from storage centers and smelting facilities 30 miles away from Nixon. This is not some, someone told me this. This has a lot of documentation, and 17 years of research went into this. So we're going to be doing a whole show.
2001. Yeah. He's proven it. And this is material that should be on the front page of the New York Times in, 3-inch letters. And maybe one day it will be, but you're getting it first here on the Opperman Report.
That's right. They're just going to have to wait because it's going to be on the Opperman Report first.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
Robert
right.
Morrow, man, what do you want to leave us with? That's you're always got great stuff, and people really should follow you on Twitter and Facebook. It's always entertaining. You never.
I will leave you with one thing.
Yeah.
I encourage folks to buy Roger Stone's book on the JFK assassination, because ironically, this dirty trickster and pathological liar for decades has written the best, most accurate book out there. It's called The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. And the reason it's the best and most accurate book out there is because I helped him with it for free. But you've got to get it because I dumped my best JFK research in that book that indicts Lyndon Johnson as a primary player in the JFK assassination. So buy Roger Stone's book, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ.
The Men Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. Robert Morrow, thank you so much, man. Okay, and keep in touch. When you have something, I appreciate you hooking me up with the John Clarence story, and I appreciate you coming on today for me, too, as well. So thank you so much.
It's a pleasure and an honor, my friend Ed.
It really is, man. You're a good guy, Robert. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay, so there we had Robert Morrow. He's the co-author with Roger Stone, the book, The Clinton War Against Women. Let me tell you, I'm going to play a little commercial break here. We'll be right back, and I'll wrap things up here on some commentary on the Robert Morrow. Fascinating. This story, too, about this gold with this Nixon thing, this is incredible stuff, okay? We're going to be getting into that in the next... And now a word from our sponsors. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, press release content writing and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subash Technosis by email at info@subashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Remember, all these shows are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. Check out cartking.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Big thank you out there to Robert Morrow, who's the author of the co-author with Roger Stone of the Clinton War on Women. Also, too, I just want to remind the audience, okay, that back 5 years ago, when I first wanted to do a show about Jeffrey Epstein, no one knew the topic, no one knew the story. The only guest you could find to talk about it was Robert Morrow, okay? And I've been firsthand witness. At the time, he was still very friendly with Roger Stone. At the time, he was a Trump supporter. Okay. And when I said to him, I says, hey, man, what about Trump and Epstein? He goes, no. I don't believe so, because Trump likes adult, large-breasted women just like I do. And I just shook my head and I said, oh, okay. But I've watched the transition here from Robert Morrow being not convinced to utterly convinced. And I guess it seems like the majority of his, what's convinced him is his knowledge of the Katie Doe lawsuit. And he seems to be quite aware, more than the average guy out there, of the players involved in what went on in that case and what went on around that story. Much more educated. In fact, I have to talk to him off the air. A lot more educated than the average guy out there who tries to talk about this topic. And what I can tell you is, just like Robert Morrow, every lawyer involved in that case, every investigator, every witness, everyone's convinced of the accuracy of that case. But people will say, "Oh, I heard the judge dropped it; it got thrown out of court," or all this kind of stuff, and it's just fascinating. But there you go, Robert Morrow, thoroughly convinced, based mostly seems to be on that lawsuit and his personal knowledge of Roger Stone. First time I think we heard that Roger Stone likes to watch other men have sex with his wife. Same thing that Paul Manafort was into. And Manafort and Stones were partners in a law firm. And I think their third partner was this guy who was involved in that hyphen credit union stuff down there in the Bronx. I'd have to go back and refresh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Mario Morrow, I think was the third partner in that business. And they called it the torturers lobby group, because they would represent dictators and who were involved in torture all around the world. Oh, what a crew, huh? What a crew out there. So check that out. And I would have to say that the Stones, Morrow's recitation of the Katie Doe lawsuit is about 95% accurate. There's a couple little corrections I could have made in there, but it's difficult to correct Robert Morrow. You got to know this guy, okay? And there's the old expression: either you love him or you hate him. I think just about everybody hates Robert Morrow. He doesn't have the people who love him, but I love him. I don't know. I like him. Although he can be a handful is the word I guess they use. This story, though, about the Nixon and LBJ and the gold, we spent a half hour. I talked to the author the other day to book the interview. And, I was listening to his story. He's going to send me a whole bunch of documentation besides the books, autographed copies of the books he sent me. But I spoke to him. But then when I spoke to Robert Morrow, he laid out the whole story in chronological order and details with names. He gave me a bunch of names to look up. And it's a very, very convincing story. And like I said, they have receipts and documents, gold smelting facilities, pilots and video of the pilot making a confession. They've got this thing pretty much wrapped up and documented. So I'm going to be taking a good look at that. That may be something that deserves a video interview with the author, who is in New Mexico. So we'd have to travel down to New Mexico and get that for you. But I think it can be done. Okay, if you like today's show, check out OppermanReport.com. You can become a member in our members section. There's plenty of content in there. The Katie Doe lawsuit documents are in there. The many Epstein affidavits and documents, search warrant video is in there. Stuff you're not going to find anywhere else, man. We have there in our members section. But there's 200 exclusive interviews, almost 400 hours of content in there. All you got to do is plunk down $6 and you get access to everything for 30 days. You'll definitely, I don't think we've ever had a member just sign up for 1 month and not come back and sign up for another month. Once you're in there, you're hooked, and you're coming back. We got to stick like a message board in there in the chat room too. Keep people busy. Maybe they won't bother me so much with all their questions and stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Got some notices today from Terry Hobbs' cousin, who just wrote that book with Terry Hobbs. Terry Hobbs, one of the stepdad of one of the kids who was murdered in West Memphis 3. So that's going to be an exclusive interview for you as well, coming out before the book's even out. Yeah, we're working here full time, man. You can't deny that. You can't deny we don't produce the goods for you here. That's one thing for sure. Here at the Opperman Report. So if you like our work, become a member. You can go to OppermanReport.com. It's $6 a month, $20 for 3 months, or It's $74 for the year. But if you contact me directly at OppermanReport@gmail.com, I'll give you 13 months for $65. So you save $10 and you get a free month. So you're saving altogether, $17? You can't beat that, right? And plus I get the money right away. It goes into my PayPal immediately. I can pay the light bill here and put a little watery gruel on my table here to feed my family. That's always nice, right? If you want to send a donation, there's a donate button at OperaReport.com. If you want to sponsor the show, become an advertiser. Hey, if you advertise a product here on the show, guess what? What I'll do for you is I'll give away a lifetime membership to people who buy your product. If it's a significant amount, we can work out a deal. I'll give away memberships for people who buy the product. Speaking of which, 21 Financial provides unparalleled personalized accounting services to a broad range of clients across the New York and Houston area. From now until until April 14th, their sole focus is getting taxpayers the biggest refund possible on the money they earned. Now they are now mobile. You can't go to them; they'll go to you, with the capability to file in any state within the United States, possibly the Virgin Islands as well. I don't really know; I just made that up. And they can find on Facebook to book your appointment directly, or you can call 903-265-8563. 903-265-8563. It's called 21 Financial. You can find them on Facebook, or you can call them at 903-265-8563. Ask for Emily. She's great. They'll give you a free estimate on how they can double your refund. Okay. Which means they're going to look at your taxes. And also too, they're going to advance you your refund up to $6,000. If you're going to get like a $5,000 refund, $6,000 refund, as soon as you file the return, they're going to hand over a wad of cash. They come by with a paper bag. They give you this cash in advance of your refund because they know it's guaranteed. Just like Wilbur Ross says, this money's guaranteed by the federal government. You can borrow money against it. So that's what's going on there. Hey, thank you so much, Robert Morrow, man. Ann Coulter. We should try and get her on the show. Or maybe we should contact her and see and Roger Stone and see what they have to say about that rumor. And we'll play that for you here at the Opperman Report. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert Morrow, with your inside information about Roger Stone. Now, you got to admit, man, Robert Morrow, you co-authored a book with Roger Stone. Has anybody else asked you to talk about this? No, Ed, you're the only one. Okay, that's what you get for $6 a month here at the Opperman Report. Thank you so much, Robert Morrow. Good night.